Hi my friends. So this is video number 7 on our little journey of experiencing how we can get to feel better every day. So in our last video we were talking about the diet, and I'd like to go a little bit more into the diet because it is such a fundamental thing for us. And so we'll just have a little talk about this in this video. And although we're talking about something very physical, the diet, I'd like to just say that getting to feel really good is really all about getting to know ourselves really well. And often when we don't feel good and we're not well in our lives, physically or mentally, in a way it's a sign. Our body is giving us a sign that of course something's wrong, and we can ask ourselves in our healing journey, what is actually the benefit of me not being well? What is this situation in my life trying to tell me? And said in a very simple way, or one really basic truth of this, is that when our body and mind is not well, it's really our self or our spirit that's calling our attention towards ourselves. So it's like the little child in us calling for attention. So some people who become incredibly sick and maybe even die from this sickness, some people they get to say, this was the best thing that ever happened to me because now I really started to live. So, and the body will give us signs that it needs more attention, or our just really our own being wants more attention, and it will say it in little signals, and finally it will be very, very loud until we start to listen. So for those of us who are not well, it's really our own being that's calling for more attention, and of course it's more of the right attention. So, yeah, as I've said many times before, in our westernized way of thinking, it can seem very egotistical that we need to put all this attention on ourselves. But as I see it, true healing and true well-being only really comes when we have complete peace with who we are and we get to know ourselves really, really well. So we really feel that we are our own best friend, and that we feel comfortable and safe within ourselves, that we really feel loved by ourselves, really. So we're not neglecting ourselves. So the body is calling for attention, the mind is calling for attention, and the thing is, what we have to work out is what do we need to do? And the very first thing, which we'll be talking more about, is to really embrace what is. So when we wish to feel better, that we're not always in this fixing mode, thinking, how can I fix this, and how can I fix that, and how can I fix this, and how can I fix that, and just make it go away. But that actually getting to embrace exactly what is in this moment and bringing our full attention to what is probably the most healing thing we can do. Just bring our attention to what is and embrace it with our full just our full awareness that this is the way it is right now, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to fight this away. I'm not fighting anything. I'm embracing it. And when I've been embracing this for a little while, I'll get some impulses on where to go from here. So really every day, and I really think to be a really joyful human being and to really enjoy our lives on earth, this is an enormous component of what our life must hold or contain. Our ability to be with and embrace what is right now. Just let it be what it is, and feel how peaceful we become when we stop fighting what is. So using this as really our main focus as we go on this path, or have this lifestyle of wishing to get to enjoy being who we are, being in these bodies more and more every day. So before we go into diet, we'll just do a little quiet time together. So if you like, close your eyes. And just sense how this beautiful air that's coming from all around us, imagining that it is completely fresh and pure, and we can even bless it before we inhale. Just bless all the air around us, seeing how it is completely fresh and full of vitality and goodness for us. It really is the gift of life that we're taking in all the time. And just breathe it into your belly all the way down as far as you can without forcing anything. Feel this soft, fresh air coming in. Deep within you, and just feeling every cell out to your very skin. Feel how every skin cell, every blood cell is being nourished by this amazing substance, this air. And let it go through your nose, and if you can, maybe focus on letting your out-breath be really long. Just giving the out-breath, giving the air time to give its nourishment, its detoxification, all its vital life force out to all our body before we let it completely go. So breathing in and feeling how nourished we become. So soft, so calm, making this big, lovely, soft belly, and letting it go just slowly and softly. Feeling how every cell of your body is being cleansed, healed, nourished. Like a little excited child, it's taking all the gifts of life into it and using it for all its needs. And feel how calming it is that you bring your attention away from all the things around you and just onto your breath. How powerful this exercise really is, to just focus on, I am here and I'm breathing. I'm breathing out. And I feel all my body, all my different bodies, how alive they are. The physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the etheric body, and our spiritual body. It's all so alive. And sensing how the well-being is there right now. We actually feel really well. We feel calm, we feel alive, we feel nourished, we feel cleansed, we feel we are full of the life force that is all around. And everything that was heavy and hard, that our mind was so busy occupied with, we've just let it go for a while. Bringing our attention back to ourselves. And take through 3 nice long deep breaths, just focusing on how you can make your out breath nice and slow and long. You can focus on this beautiful feeling in your nose as the breath goes out. You can't hear it. It's so soft, but you can feel it. And filling your belly again. Big and soft. Sense how wonderful it feels to become so present and so centered. So slowly, when you're ready, let's open our eyes and just have a little talk about diet. You might like to just wriggle your body a little bit, because you sort of go, in a way you feel like you go far away. But we'll bring our attention back to the diet. And as I said last time, it can be very healing to go on a very simple animal-based diet. But I also want to just shine a little light on the world of fermented foods, which I've talked about many times in my videos. There's fermented milk products, and there's fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, and how I think they really are a good idea to have in our diet, even though we're healing very deeply, to always have just a spoonful, if that's all we can have, just a spoonful sometime during the morning before we have our food, or maybe with our food. So fermented foods are really when food becomes medicine. because it's really, really fascinating how when you look around the world, around the globe, and to all the traditional people of the earth, they all had fermented food. And one of the reasons why they had fermented food was that when they had a lot of food, they could ferment some of it, and so that it could keep for a long time. So in the East you have the kimchi. So I have one of my colleagues is from Korea, and they were very, very poor, and she grew up in an orphanage, and what she had was really rice, this just cooked rice and kimchi. That's all she lived off when she was little. And so all around the world you have some sort of fermented food, and one of the reasons was for keeping it, preserving it. But I think what humans found out was that fermenting food was really something that brought enormous amounts of vitality to their bodies. And so that is why it has been so treasured throughout really all of human history, I think. Because even meat, when we only had meat, we would also ferment that meat. So what is it that is so special about the fermented foods? Well, one thing you can say is that it is really already digested, so you don't use any energy, hardly, to digest the food. The other thing is it is gone through a process where the healthy and the health promoting bacteria, fungi, yeasts have actually eaten away at the sugars in the food, and during that process they have actually, first of all, created enormous amounts of beneficial bacteria, yeast, fungi, but they have also created lots of nutrients. So if you take a cabbage that is raw and you take a cabbage that has been fermented, it's two different worlds. So the diet with the raw cabbage, you have to do with all your enzymes and all the processes of your body, you have to break that cabbage down to give you some nutrients. And that is, especially for people with a ruined gut, a very, very difficult process. And as you probably have experienced, cabbage can give you a lot of reactions. But when the cabbage has been fermented, it's like a gift from the gods. And that's what the Muslims called the kefir grains. It was a gift from Allah. Because that's how special it is. It's so special. So the sauerkraut will not just give you the nutrients that were in the cabbage, but it will be very, very, very enhanced. So there are many more nutrients in that cabbage that has been fermented. At the same time, it's full of all these enzymes. So it's actually not only very easy to digest and very nourishing for us, but it is also very cleansing and detoxifying for our whole body. It also activates our digestive system. So you feel when you have fermented foods in your diet that you have a very healthy feeling of being hungry in a really wonderful way, a very healthy way. Another thing, there's many benefits when you start eating your fermented foods. You feel you change. And one of the reasons why you change is that you are adding beneficial bacteria to your gut that are actually promoting more health in your gut. So, and as I've mentioned before, the gut bacteria we have is signaling to the brain what food it wants. And if we eat processed, very unhealthy foods, those microorganisms will be in large numbers. The microorganisms that love the unhealthy food with lots of grains, processed things, sugars, seed oils, they are specific, often pathogenic bacteria, and they will send signals to our brain that this is what they want, and they won't stop shouting before we get that food and we eat it. So we have those chips, or we have that chocolate, or we have whatever, and then we calm down until they start getting hungry again. Because really often when we're eating, we're feeding the bacteria, and the bacteria feed us. And so of course when we have healthy, health promoting bacteria in our gut, when we feed them, they give us more health. And this is what happens when we eat our fermented foods. We are feeding the beneficial bacteria, and they are promoting more health in us. And so they signal to the brain, have some more sauerkraut, have some more, have some more of this real food. They will never signal to the brain, have a really bad pizza from the freezer that is just full of non-food. They don't give you those signals. So a very powerful part of having fermented foods is that you feel that you are being helped enormously with your food addictions, because you are actually feeling these signals to have healthy food. Your addiction for unhealthy food simply goes away within a very short amount of time. You simply do not feel like it anymore. So, and fermented foods also help us digest the other foods that we're eating. And what I've mentioned before is that if you have your fermented food first, I usually have it when I get hungry in the morning, and then I don't eat it anymore. I just have a small amount of sauerkraut, and then I stop eating, or I just have no more, until I feel very hungry, and then I have my meat and fat. That's how I'm eating just now, and then I have other things during the afternoon. So having your sauerkraut just before your meal, instead of mixing it all up, is really better. So the whole thing of mixing lots of food is actually not really good for us when we need to do very deep healing. So and some people might like to have their sauerkraut after their meal, but you can just try around with it. Another thing I use is kombucha, which I have with my fatty meat. So I drink my kombucha with my meat, and so that's actually with the meal. But this is something, yes, you have to experiment with. I just think it's very important to have in this series that fermented foods are really a gift from God. And they help us refine our health, refine our digestive system, cleanse our body, make us feel very alive, and really actually very joyful. Because I think they do give us this happy feeling also. So that's really the word kefir. So my camera had to be recharged, so I'm going to finish off this video now, and just mentioning how these fermented foods, like kefir for instance, the word kefir actually means feel good, and so that's what I really sense in my own body, that fermented foods can actually really make us feel well inside and all over. So I'm going to finish now and wish for you that you get to find the foods that really suit you well, and yeah, whatever you could use for this from this video, it's fine. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.